The night Evelyn Harper realized something was wrong, the house was too quiet. Not the peaceful kind of quiet, but the kind that presses on the ears and makes every small sound feel loud. The refrigerator hummed. The clock ticked. Outside, a car passed on the street and disappeared. Evelyn stood at the kitchen window, looking out at the neat lawns of Maplewood, and felt a tight pull in her chest that had nothing to do with age and everything to do with fear. Her phone buzzed once. On the counter, she didn't pick it up right away. Some instincts don't need proof. They arrive fully formed, like a storm on the horizon. When she finally looked, she saw the name of an old friend. Someone who had known her family for years. Someone who never called late unless it mattered. The message was short, careful, almost apologetic. It said Daniel might be crossing a line. It said there was another woman at work. Said it didn't look harmless. Evelyn closed her eyes. Daniel Harper was not the kind of man people expected this from. He was 32, polite, steady, and thoughtful. He had been that way since childhood. He held doors, he remembered names, he showed up. He married Lauren, his college sweetheart, after years of quiet commitment. They bought a small house near the river. They hosted barbecues, they smiled in photos. From the outside, their life looked complete. But Evelyn knew that appearances could lie. She had lived long enough to see good people make bad choices for simple reasons. Loneliness, attention, confusion. None of it started as disaster. It always started small. She picked up the phone and called Daniel. He answered after the third ring, cheerful but distracted. Evelyn heard traffic in the background. "Mom, hey," he said. "Everything okay?" "No," she replied. "I need to see you." There was a pause. Then a softer tone. "Is something wrong?" "Yes," she said again. "Please, tonight." They met at a diner just off the interstate, a place with cracked booths and warm lights. Evelyn arrived early and sat with her hands folded. Watching people come and go, families, couples, strangers passing each other without knowing what the other carried inside. Daniel walked in 10 minutes later. He looked tired. His jacket was still on. He hugged her quickly, like someone already thinking about leaving. They ordered coffee. Evelyn didn't waste time. "Daniel," she said, keeping her voice calm, "are you being honest with your wife?" He stiffened. "I don't know what you mean," he said, too fast. Evelyn leaned back slightly and looked at him the way she had when he was a boy, and tried to hide broken rules behind excuses. She said, "Are you giving your attention to someone else?" The diner noise faded between them. Daniel stared into his cup. "I haven't done anything wrong," he said. "Not really." Those words landed hard. "Not really." Evelyn felt a deep sadness rise, but she kept her voice steady. "Feelings matter," she said, "even before actions do." Daniel rubbed his forehead. "I feel stuck," he admitted. "Lauren and I barely talk anymore. Everything feels heavy. At work, there's someone who listens. She understands what I'm dealing with." Evelyn listened closely. She heard what he didn't say. She heard how easy it sounded, how justified. "Listening can feel powerful," she said, "but it can also pull you away from what you promised." Daniel looked up, eyes full of frustration. "So I'm supposed to stay unhappy forever?" he asked. "No," Evelyn replied gently. "You're supposed to face the unhappiness with your wife, not escape it with someone else." Daniel exhaled sharply. He looked like a man caught between two roads, neither one clear. "It's not like that," he said. "Just talking." "Just feeling something again?" Evelyn reached across the table and placed her hand over his. "Feelings grow," she said. "They don't stay small just because we ask them to." He pulled his hand back, not in anger, but in discomfort. "I don't want to hurt anyone," he said. "But you already are," Evelyn replied quietly. They sat in silence for a moment. The waitress refilled cups. Life continued around them. Evelyn chose her words carefully. She knew lectures would fail. Fear might push him further away. What he needed was truth without judgment. Marriage isn't a cage, she said. It's a choice you make every day. Some days it feels natural. Some days it feels like work. But the work is where trust lives. Daniel nodded slowly, but his eyes were distant. I just need time, he said. Time? The words sounded harmless. Evelyn knew better. She paid the bill and they stood to leave. Outside, the cold air hit her face. Daniel hugged her again, longer this time. I hear you, he said. I promise. I'm thinking about it. Evelyn watched him drive away, the red lights fading into the dark. She stood there longer than she needed to, her coat pulled tight, hoping her words had landed where they needed to. Days passed, then weeks. Evelyn tried to focus on routine. She tended her garden, she met friends for lunch. She told herself that adults made their own choices and that she had done what she could, but small signs began to appear. Lauren canceled dinner plans. She sounded tired on the phone. Her laughter felt forced. One afternoon, Evelyn ran into Lauren at the grocery store. They hugged, but the embrace felt fragile. You okay? Evelyn asked softly. Lauren smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Just busy, she said. Evelyn wanted to ask more. She didn't. Some truths reveal themselves without questions. That night, Evelyn called Daniel again. Are you talking to Lauren? She asked. Yes, he said. We're fine. The word fine felt thin. Are you still talking to her? Evelyn asked. There was a pause. We work together, he replied. It's unavoidable. Evelyn closed her eyes. Daniel, she said, distance doesn't heal itself, and silence grows teeth. I know, he said, frustration creeping in. I'm not a child. I can handle this. Evelyn felt the door closing. She changed her approach. I trust you to choose wisely, she said. I just don't want you waking up one day realizing you traded something real for something easy. He didn't respond right away. I'll call you later, he said, and ended the call. Winter arrived early that year. Snow dusted the streets, lights went up, music played in stores. On the surface, everything felt normal. Inside Evelyn, worry settled deep. One evening, she sat alone with an old photo album. There was Daniel at 6, missing a tooth, smiling wide. There he was at 16, awkward and tall. At his wedding, standing beside Lauren, eyes full of promise. Evelyn traced the edges of the photos with her fingers. She remembered teaching him right from wrong. She remembered telling him that character mattered more than comfort. She believed he had listened. She still wanted to believe it. Then the call came, not from Daniel, from Lauren. Her voice was calm but hollow. Evelyn, she said, can I come by? Lauren arrived an hour later. She looked composed, but something about her posture had changed, like someone carrying invisible weight. They sat at the kitchen table, the same table where Lauren once laughed freely. I didn't want to involve you, Lauren said. But I don't know who else to talk to. Evelyn said nothing. She let the silence make space. He's distant, Lauren continued, always distracted. I asked him directly if there was someone else. Evelyn's chest tightened, and she asked. He didn't say no, Lauren replied. The words hung heavy. I don't know what's happening, Lauren said, but I feel like I'm losing him. Evelyn reached for her hand. You don't deserve to feel invisible, she said. Lauren nodded, eyes shining but steady. I just wanted you to know, she said, in case you wondered. After Lauren left, Evelyn sat alone in the dark. She didn't cry. She felt something worse. A slow understanding that warnings don't always change outcomes. She called Daniel one last time that night. You need to come over, she said. He arrived late. He didn't remove his coat. He stood instead of sitting. Lauren told me everything, Evelyn said. Daniel looked down. I never meant for it to get this far, he said. But it has, Evelyn replied. I'm confused, he said again, like a shield. Evelyn stepped closer, her voice firm now. Confusion is not an excuse to hurt people, she said. If you're unhappy, face it. If you're tempted, step back, don't live in the middle, and call it harmless. Daniel's eyes filled with emotion. I don't know what to do, he whispered. Evelyn felt a deep ache. She placed her hands on his arms. Do the hard thing, she said. Not the easy one. For a moment, it seemed like he might listen. Like the weight of her words had finally reached him. Then his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, just for a second. But Evelyn saw the shift, the pull, the choice. I have to go, he said. Evelyn watched him leave again. This time, she didn't follow him to the door. She stood alone in her kitchen, the clock ticking, the house quiet once more. She knew then that whatever came next would not be gentle. She feared that despite all her love, all her warnings, her son was standing at the edge of a decision that would change everything. The night pressed in around the house, and Evelyn waited, knowing that some lessons refuse to be learned until the damage is done. The moment Evelyn Harper opened her front door and saw Lauren standing there with a small suitcase and tired eyes, she knew the warning had come too late. The street behind Lauren was bright with winter sun, but inside Evelyn's chest, everything went cold. Nothing dramatic had happened yet, but the quiet look on Lauren's face said everything was already broken. Lauren didn't cry. She didn't raise her voice. She simply said, "He asked for space," and stepped inside. They sat at the kitchen table where so many warm conversations had once taken place. Lauren wrapped her hands around a mug she never drank from. Her voice was steady, but it carried weight. "He says he's confused," Lauren said. "He says he needs time to think." Evelyn listened, her heart heavy but her face calm. She had heard these words before, spoken by people standing halfway out the door. Time rarely meant healing. It usually meant distance. "Did he say where?" "He's staying," Evelyn asked. With a friend, Lauren replied, then paused. "At least, that's what he said." Evelyn nodded. She didn't press. Truth has a way of showing itself without force. That evening, Daniel came by. He didn't knock. He used his key like someone unsure whether he still belonged. He stood in the hallway, hands in his pockets, eyes tired. "I didn't expect Lauren to come here," he said. "She needed stability," Evelyn replied. "Something steady." Daniel exhaled and sat down, his shoulders slumping. "I never planned to hurt her," he said. "I just don't feel the same anymore." Evelyn studied her son. He looked older than he had a month ago, like the weight of his choices was already settling in. "Feelings change," she said. "Commitment is what stays when feelings shift." Daniel looked away. "There's someone else," he said quietly. "I didn't mean for it to happen." The words landed hard, even though Evelyn had expected them. Hearing them out loud changed everything. "Have you told Lauren?" Evelyn asked. He shook his head. "I didn't want to crush her." Evelyn's voice stayed calm but firm. Silence crushes people more slowly, but just as deeply. Daniel didn't argue. He already looked like a man arguing with himself. Within days, the truth surfaced on its own. Lauren found messages, not explicit, not dramatic, just enough warmth and attention to confirm what she feared. She packed more clothes. She stopped calling Daniel, stopped asking questions. Daniel moved out. At first, he seemed relieved. The tension was gone. No difficult talks, no heavy silences. He told himself he was being honest at last. He told himself he deserved happiness. Evelyn watched him from a distance. She didn't lecture. She didn't beg. She knew this part of the story had to play out without her interference. Daniel threw himself into the new relationship. Everything felt light. Conversations flowed. Laughter came easily. He felt seen again. He mistook excitement for peace. But excitement burns fast, Lauren. Meanwhile, rebuilt her life quietly. She stayed with a friend. She returned to work. She cried when she was alone and stood tall when she wasn't. She didn't speak badly about Daniel. She simply let go, one day at a time. Evelyn checked on her often. Sometimes they talked. Sometimes they just sat together. Loss doesn't always need words. Months passed, the season changed, snow melted, trees bloomed. Life moved forward without asking permission. Daniel began to notice the cracks. The conversations that once felt easy started to repeat themselves. Small disagreements felt bigger than they should. The comfort he expected never fully arrived. One night, alone in his apartment, Daniel stared at the ceiling and felt a strange emptiness. He had chosen change, but the change didn't feel like growth. It felt like noise fading too quickly. He called his mother. "I thought I'd feel free," he admitted, "but I feel unsettled." Evelyn listened without judgment. Freedom without direction can feel lonely, she said. Daniel didn't respond right away. "I miss my old life," he said finally. "Not everything, but this steadiness." Evelyn chose her words carefully. "Steadiness comes from showing up," she said, "not from running toward." Weeks later, the new relationship ended. Not with drama, just distance. People realizing that attraction alone couldn't carry real life. Daniel didn't tell anyone right away. He walked through his days quietly, feeling the full weight of what he had done. He had broken something solid for something uncertain, and now both were gone. One evening, he drove past the house he once shared with Lauren. The lights were on. Someone new had planted flowers by the door. Life had moved on without him. The realization, his face drawn, his confidence gone. "I made a mess of everything," he said. Evelyn nodded, double quotes. "Yes," she replied. "You did." Yes. She didn't saw. Love didn't mean shielding him from reality. "I thought love was supposed to feel exciting all the time," Daniel said. "I didn't know it could be quiet and still." Evelyn placed a hand over his. "Quiet love builds a home." She said, "Loud love often leaves you standing alone." Daniel stayed for dinner. They talked about simple things: the weather, work, the neighbor's new dog. Ordinary topics felt grounding after so much emotional chaos. Later that night, Daniel asked the question he had been avoiding. "Do you think Lauren will ever forgive me?" Evelyn didn't answer right away. "Forgiveness is not something you can expect," she said. "It's something another person may or may not offer in their own time." Daniel nodded, accepting the truth. "I don't want to be this person," he said. "The one who walks away when things get hard." "Then don't be," Evelyn replied. "Change is still possible, even now." Daniel began rebuilding slowly. He repaired friendships he had neglected. He learned to sit with discomfort instead of escaping it. He wrote a letter to Lauren, not asking for another chance, not defending himself, just taking responsibility. He didn't expect a response. Weeks later, a short reply came. Lauren thanked him for the honesty. She said she wished him well. Nothing more had hurt, but it was fair. Evelyn watched her son grow in ways she hadn't expected. Pain had forced. Reflection, loss had taught him restraint. He spoke less and listened more. He no longer chased easy comfort. One afternoon, Daniel helped Evelyn in her garden. The sun was warm. The work was simple. "I understand now," he said. "You weren't trying to control me. You were trying to protect me from myself." Evelyn smiled gently. "Parents see storms before children do," she said. "Not because we're wiser, because we've been caught in them before." Daniel nodded. "I thought doing what felt right would fix everything," he said. "But feelings aren't the same as values." "That's a hard lesson," Evelyn replied. "What?" "An important one." As the day ended, Daniel felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Not excitement, not escape, but calm. He knew he couldn't undo the past. He couldn't reclaim what he had lost, but he could carry the lesson forward. That night, Evelyn sat alone, reflecting on everything that had happened. She felt sadness, but also peace. She had spoken the truth when it mattered. What came after had been out of her hands. She understood something deeply now. Love doesn't always mean saving someone from pain. Sometimes it means letting them walk into it, trusting that they'll come out changed. And Daniel had. The house was quiet again, but this time it felt different. Not heavy, not tense, just still. And in that stillness lived the hard-earned wisdom of choices made, lessons learned, and the quiet hope that even after the unthinkable, growth was still possible.